Welcome back to Jokelore, folks. Now this might sound crazy, depending how online you are, but memes are being used in war right now, and it's working. And depending how into history you are, you might be thinking, well, they kinda always have. And you'd be right. Because old-time war propaganda and modern war memes are the exact same thing, just targeting different generations, 6-7. In fact, war propaganda goes back to ancient times, with examples such as the Behistun inscription dating all the way back to 520 BC. This is considered to be a piece of ancient Persian war propaganda written by Darius the Great himself. Fast forward a couple thousand years to World War I, and for the first time ever, the world saw governments using mass media to control public perception. Back then, they used posters and newspapers. Since then, there have been countless examples of wartime propaganda. But in my opinion, none have been as fascinating as the recent rise of wartime memes. And because anyone these days can create a meme, this gives civilians a way to contribute to their country of choice's war effort in a way that wasn't really possible before. This trend of enemy combatants trading troll posts like a couple of sweaty Magic players really started gaining popularity during the Ukraine war. After Russia invaded Ukraine, people all over the world, including the Ukrainian government, immediately went online and started making memes. That fact alone made me laugh very hard. During the first few days of the Russian invasion, rumors started swirling about a Ukrainian fighter pilot who was shooting down Russian jets like 14-year-old Jokelore playing Ace Combat on PlayStation. They called him the Ghost of Kyiv, and his battle record was quickly becoming the stuff of legend. Most of you will probably remember seeing posts and memes about the Ghost taking over your feeds, with awe-inspiring claims like he shot down 6 Russian fighters on the first day of the invasion, and that kill count was rising quick. Even the Ukrainian Air Force did all but confirm the myth by sharing and reposting Ghost of Kyiv content on their own accounts. Understandably, this caused a huge wave of morale and pride for Ukrainians, with the Ghost representing the steadfast hero they needed during this dark and uncertain time. And the really fascinating part, in my opinion, is how the Ghost of Kyiv shifted global perception of the war, making Russia seem more vulnerable than they were willing to let on, and making Ukraine look like some badass underdogs capable of successfully defending their land against the enemy. But it was all made up. The Ghost of Kyiv was never a real pilot. None of the stories about his dogfights were true. But the Ukrainian Air Force later said that while there was no single Ghost of Kyiv, that the Ghost represented the combined efforts of all the Air Force's pilots working together. And the cool thing is, while everyone now knows the truth, this still hasn't changed the positive perception of Ukraine in the war. The Ghost of Kyiv and the memes that came after it continue to benefit Ukraine's image on the world stage. More recently, comparing Ukraine's use of drones and robots on the front lines to playing video games was another popular meme. Specifically, some people would compare Ukrainian attack drone footage to the game War Thunder, who don't currently sponsor my videos, but my DMs are open. Just saying, got over 100 subs now, next goal is 1 million. Anyway, there were also the notorious Ukraine's Most Wanted playing cards. These were real playing cards featuring the faces of real Russian leaders, and they were actually handed out to Ukrainian soldiers on the front lines. This public gamification of the war, and frankly, I'd call it world building, that's what they're doing. They're controlling the narrative through ideas manifested as memes, and the real beauty is that these ideas are modified and amplified by the public, by civilians, with the government and military again just kind of guiding it gently along. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And so now that we've laid a bit of groundwork, let's get to my favorite part: Donald Trump versus Iran. People, we are by far living on the cutting edge of meme warfare right now. Trump versus Iran has generated a deluge of memes, showering down on us like so much precious rain upon the desolate lands of Memistan. Like so many middle-aged men before me, I will say, we sure needed that rain. We all know Donnie has always had a flair for the theatric, a certain panache, if you will. From even before his first term as president, Jesus fucking Christ, that's still crazy to say, to his second term as president. What the fuck, guys? What are you doing down there? Before he was banned from every social platform, Donnie would shitpost with the best of them. Things like infamously making fun of a disabled journalist, contesting the birthplace of then President Barack Obama, and whatever else he was saying about Hillary Clinton, all that crazy shit. Maybe some of it was true, I don't know. Fast forward to his current war with Iran, and the memes have been almost overwhelming, both in frequency and ferocity, with the Americans serving their try-hard nasho-fasho style Facebook mom slop and using American artists' work without their consent, nice job, while the Iranians' approach to trolling has pretty much cemented them as the absolute based Sigma Chads in this exchange. You know what, actually f*** it, run another meme montage. So now with Poopy D going head-to-head with Iran over the heavily contested Strait of Hormuz, the trolling and the memes have been turned up to 11, with Donald primarily sharing his thoughts via official US government accounts, as well as his personal echo chamber, Truth Social. In early March, God, that was only a month ago, when Iran first closed the strait, Trump started things off by publicly demanding they reopen it, and called on his allies for help, most of which hilariously refused. Later, he would issue his first big ultimatum. You gotta love it when he does his big ones. I'm actually writing this on April 7th at 4:59 p.m., just a few hours before the newest ultimatum, you know, the one where he threatened to destroy Iran's entire civilization, that one. Anyway, his first big ultimatum was issued on March 21st, when he threatened to obliterate various power plants. Probably just a coincidence that the 48-hour deadline lined up perfectly with market open the following week, hey Donnie boy? 2 days later, Trump gave us an update that talks with Iran were going well, progressing well, all of which Iran completely and hilariously denied. On March 26th, Wall Street tanked, and Trump took to Truth Social again to announce a 10-day extension of the ultimatum. I guess him and his friends needed some more time to get their orders filled. On March 30th, he then continued on to say that great progress was being made toward reopening the strait, but immediately after said that if the strait wasn't reopened, he would destroy all of Iran's power plants and oil wells. Kinda contradictory statements there. And Iran would respond just a few hours later by bombing a Kuwaiti oil tanker sitting in a port near Dubai. Solid comeback. On April 1st, Trump said that Iran asked for a ceasefire. This guy just can't stop lying, a claim that was categorically denied by Iran's foreign ministry. After this shit tornado, this shit NATO, if you will, of contradictory statements, it was just a few days ago on April 4th when Trump warned again that if the strait wasn't reopened in 48 hours, all hell will rain down on them being the Iranians, of course. And we all know what happened after that. Iran was still like, nah. Which brings us to today, as I currently wait for World War III to start. But regardless of what happens, the fact remains that memes have become an integral part of modern warfare, and they will continue to shape how we perceive different actors in the fight. And when a war meme is funny, it just hits different. It really does. I think it has something to do with the resilience of the human spirit coming out even in the darkest times. Like, if we can crack jokes during war, then we can do anything, right? That's how I see it. And you made it to the end of the video. I want to thank you all for watching and give a major shout out to my subscribers. I appreciate you all. Please like the video if you liked it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Jokelore. It would mean the world to me. Peace.